GoPro recently released an update to its Max 2 360 camera, which I own, and nobody's talking about it. Does it live up to the hype? Are the new features worth it? Well, welcome back to Creator Reality, my friend. I'm John, and today we're going to take a little bit of a deep dive look into this version 1.30 update and hopefully answer that question. While we do that, we're going to take a look at some of the test footage I've collected with my Max 2, and at the end, because this is a Davinci Resolve based channel, I'll show you my current editing workflow for 360 camera footage. So let's dive into GoPro's website and take a look at that update. And here we have it. You can see the URL up there, but I'll leave a link down in the video description below to make it easily clickable and findable for you. I'm helpful that way, right? Anyway, you can see here that it's version 1.30. It was released about 6 weeks ago as of this recording, but nobody's talking about it. Nobody seems to mention it outside of a couple of Reddit threads, and yeah. So I had to try it out for myself, so I did the update. Now, if you are not familiar with my favorite way of updating GoPro cameras, use the manual method here. Update your camera manually. Whether you have a Mac computer or a Windows computer, follow that manual method. This is important because if you save the zip files that you download from GoPro's website, in case there's a problem doing the update or they've broken something else in the newest version, you can roll back to an older firmware. Also, there have been problems, at least in the past, with using the Quick app to update your GoPro. In this case, there's very little issue, and in, 6 or 7 years of running GoPros, knock on wood, I have yet to have an issue with manually updating my GoPros. So what all is in this update? Well, first off, we have the big one. It's a maximum bit rate for up to 200 megabits per second. And in just a minute, we'll do a side-by-side comparison of the old firmware versus the new firmware and the image quality that results from each. Next up, we have a blur reduction setting in single lens video modes only. And it's supposed to help in low light with motion blur. Now, I'm never going to use my Max 2 in single lens mode. I've got a pile of regular GoPros back there that can do the job just fine. But I understand if the Max 2 is your only camera, your only action camera, that you might want to do that. In fact, leave me a comment below if you have a Max 2 and you've used it in single lens mode and what you think of it. It's an essay question. Feel free to be as verbose as you'd like. But next up, we have a 10-bit color mode added to all the time-lapse recordings. We have GP log encoding profiles to all the time lapses, 10-bit color to the time-lapse recording modes again. Okay, they put it in there twice. And we have anti-flickering toggle to change between 60 and 50 hertz shutter speeds to remove flickering. That's a pretty cool quality of life improvement. I don't really have a need for that. I only film outdoors. So if you've tried this out and you saw a difference, let me know in the comments below. But generally in the US, everything's like 60 hertz. And I think in the UK, it's all 50 hertz. Let me know where you live and what your hertz are. Not a pain question. No, not a pain question. Anyway, that's enough about the update. Let's go take a look at some of the footage that I've recorded with this. And here we are in Davinci Resolve. I've got two clips, one from the older firmware and one from the newer firmware, so we can do a comparison. And I have zoomed and reframed these to show 3 different examples of something specific where the distance can sort of be guessed at and measured and close. It's not perfect. In one scenario, the Max 2 was mounted on the right side of my motorcycle, and in the other one, it's hanging off the right side of the handlebars, so I know they're different. It's kind of apples to oranges, but we're going to take a look at the difference anyway, and when I tell you what the bit rates are for these two videos, it might shock you. But this first one is the old firmware. We can see this blue car, and then in the new firmware, there's the beige car. If I put them side by side, can you tell a difference between these two cars? Leave me a comment below. Next up, we've got an example of a crosswalk, and again, I reframed and zoomed to get it as close as possible. This one might show the best increase in detail. And I get they're different heights and distances from the crosswalk, but it's still close-ish. It should be about the same. In our last example, we've got a road sign, arrow, numbers, and the word east. Well, that's the old firmware, and then the new firmware, you can't read east as well. And I tried, but I couldn't quite get the reframing to be the same. It just is what it is. but there might be some extra detail in the trees. Again, leave me a comment below if you notice a difference. Now, what about that bit rate? Well, the first clip was measured at 142,519 kilobits per second. And the second one is at 140,579 kilobits per second. Or is it kilobytes? Either way, the measurement holds. It's actually a lower bit rate for this specific clip. Now, it's variable. This is the total bit rate reported by Windows, so your mileage may vary. I've seen anywhere from 138,000 kilobits per second to 150,000 kilobits per second. I don't know why. I'm not an expert in this. Maybe somebody can clue me in down below. It's probably the difference in movement between frame 1 and frame 2, and how much movement you've got might generate more kilobits. Either way, I didn't really see a big difference. So there you have it. Now let's jump into the timeline for a video I recorded for my other channel, link over there. If you like motorcycles, check out Road Reality. Look, I got a sweatshirt with my channel name on it. Yeah, nerd. Anyway, let's take a look at that timeline. You can see I've got a whole bunch of adjustment clips that have the reframe plugin in it. If you want an in-depth usage guide for Reframe 360 with any 360 camera, check my video up here. But for this one, what I'm doing is I created this clip, Reframe 360 Road Glide Handlebar Left. Pretty specific, but that's how I operate. In the inspector, if you don't see it, click on Inspector until you do, go to File. You can change the name right here. So I changed the name, and then in my media pool, I have a bin for 360 stuff. If you don't see power bins, click on the three dots here, Show Power Bins. This is where you can save cross-project assets so that you don't have to manually add them to each and every project. You can just add it to your power bins and it's just always there. But I've got this 360 stuff here, and I just dragged it up in here. So whoop, like that, ta-da, added it in. Control Z to undo that. And this way, I'm already set up. So if I click on my adjustment clip and go to effects, you can see that under open effects, we have Reframe 360. And I've set it up with a whole bunch of cameras. So in this case, we've got a whole bunch. And if I scroll through them, you'll see them change. So all these different angles have been set up for this handlebar position. And as long as I put the Max 2 in the same handlebar position, I can just drag and drop this adjustment clip onto my timeline and it reframes the 360 footage. Why would I do it this way? Besides being easier and having all the virtual cameras set up when you're editing, you're only cutting up the multicam clips or the 360 clip and you're looking at it as a flat, stretched out view, and then you reframe it after you've done your rough cut, which saves a lot of time because you're only reframing the 360 footage that you're actually going to use. And if you want to make a change mid-edit, it's as simple as going into this plugin and changing some values. Now, before we move on, a little bit about those new settings. Let's go into the Max 2's back screen and change some video settings. Now, as you scroll down through your settings, make sure you have bit depth set to 10-bit. And this is important because without the 10-bit setting on, you can't record at the 200 megabits per second, which was added in this update. And then as you scroll down in the settings, you'll see all of my favorites. I'm giving away my secrets here. I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but it's how I do it. And we have denoise now set to high, which is good. And then moving on from there, we have blur reduction, and if you click on that one, you get on and off. I think that was there before, but I'm not sure. I'm showing it now, so if you have a Max 2, expect that. The last one is going to be bitrate, and I have mine set to max, but you can set it to standard or the 120 megabits per second. That's high, and then the max is max. It's the 200 megabits per second. Yay us. It's set to it. My camera is set to it. You can see all this. About that bit rate, what's it going to do to your battery life? And the results are in, and they're not great. With the new update, my Max 2, which was on the same amount of time as the Hero 13, is at 23%, and the Hero 13 itself is at 37%. So it does take a hit in the battery department when you've got the new update on there, and you are shooting at 200 megabits per second bit rate. Whereas before, they were pretty close. They were within like 1 or 2% of each other. So I kind of expected that, and I got what I expected. So I'm up here at this park to test some of the details, resolution. I'm in the shade for a little bit of lower light. I know it's not low light, but it's lower light. And we're gonna check the details on the trees and stuff around me. And I can do those cool 360 things like extending my selfie stick out 4 whole feet. And I don't have a wireless mic on this thing. So yeah, I hope this is really being picked up by the audio. But I'm gonna reframe this in Davinci Resolve using Reframe 360 like I already showed you. And yeah, we'll see what comes of it. By the way, I will put on screen somewhere above my head what the bit rate is according to Windows for this video clip. Yeah, this is a nice little park over here. I kind of like this. Let's stop and do a 360 pan real quick. A periscope. And there you can see all the details. I'm holding it pretty steady. And I look like He-Man by the power of Grayskull. If you get that reference and you saw that show when it was originally aired, you need an aspirin and a nap. Anyway, this camera is running version 1.30 of the firmware, and I have some final thoughts on it, this firmware. I think it's a little bit of a help, a couple of quality of life increases, but if the bit rate really was 200 megabits per second, I expected it to be used as such. But really, all I lost was some battery life, and I didn't see a significant increase in image quality. That's a shame. And one last test, the Sound of Music test. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Are you dizzy? I'm a little bit dizzy. I'm gonna go lay down. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you got something out of today's video. If you did, don't forget to boop that like button, drop me a comment below, let me know how you're doing, and, you know, do the liking and sharing, all the YouTube stuff. Now, until next time, I want you to watch this video next. And if you want to see how I edit videos faster, that's the one to watch. John out.